What's up, guys? It's Coach Gaglione here. This is another edition of the Powerlifting for the People podcast. This is going to be a quick one, a little bonus episode, a little just kind of introduction of, we're going to be just shifting gears a little bit with the podcast and some of the content we're doing. I probably should have done something like this originally, but I wanted to also kind of explain a little bit of behind the message and what does powerlifting for the people represent and what does it mean. So a number of years ago, I wish I had the exact date, but we could probably look that up on Amazon. My first kind of book that I kind of put together and published on Amazon. We have a couple of books on Amazon. We even have one that is on the way. Maybe it'll be just in time for a stocking stuffer for this year, hopefully. That's the plan anyway. But I have two books on Amazon right now. The first one, it's very kind of general. So this is really not for the competitive lifter in mind, but it's called Powerlifting for the People. And this is really embodied everything that we do here at Gaglione Strength. So just like a little quick rundown of like kind of what's in here. We talk about the benefits of powerlifting, what strength training actually is, some of the myths, why powerlifting might be beneficial for athletics, and how it'd be beneficial for athletics using powerlifting to build muscle, why powerlifting is important for older people, what you're going to maybe do with powerlifting, beyond athletics and beyond competitions, should you compete, how you should eat for lifting and things like that. So this was really just a resource for people, and the goal behind this book actually was for like maybe a competitive lifter can share this resource with someone who's not competitive, maybe has never been into strength training before. So this is not necessarily like something that a competitive lifter might read this and be like, oh yeah, duh, like obviously I know strength training is important. I know that strength training can help your bone density. I know strength training can help you build lean muscle tissue, and I know strength training can help you have more power output for athletics and things like that. But a lot of the general population don't know these things, or they think powerlifting may be dangerous, or they think strength training may be dangerous, or just a barbell in general is scary for a lot of people. People don't have a concept. They might be able to lift their 20-pound baby, and they think that's fine, or the 20-pound bag of groceries, but if they're lifting a 20-pound barbell, that's scary for them. So the whole point of powerlifting for the people, and even with like kind of the cover, like we have the contrast between, we got Nicole and Mark on the cover here, and it really just kind of shows the differences of like the competitive athlete, but also it could really be, powerlifting could be a great thing for someone who's just recreational. We talk about this all the time, but using our probably two most extreme examples of people that I've worked with in the past and that I'm working with currently. We have my 61-year-old mother, who is not competitive. She does not care about what her total is, and she just did our charity bench press contest, but she's not like lifting for sport. And then you have someone like a Larry Williams that I've worked with the past four years during his meet preps and handling him personally at his all his competitions for about the past 4 years, and he's looking to be the best lifter in the world. He's looking to put his name in the record books. He's broken several world records. He has two current all-time world records. He's broken the world record, I want to say, at least 3 times on occasion. The first time he broke it, Andrew Herbert took it back very quickly, which was cool. That was a great battle. And he's looking for his third world record in another weight class. It's pretty remarkable stuff. And I think at the time of this taping, I think he probably has the highest Wilks in sleeves in the country and potentially even the world. I think potentially the world, at least for 2018. So, there's a big gap there, and for when we talk about powerlifting for the people, we really do, and my buddy Mark Bell says this all the time. Everyone possesses the ability to get stronger, and I really truly believe that powerlifting is one of those great sports, one of those great activities, hobbies, whatever you want to call it, that really anyone could do. Anyone could find some variation of the big three: the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift. Whether it's a broomstick, whether it's a box squat, whether it's an air squat, whether you're benching an empty barbell. If you we have some para athletes that we're working with now that have some spinal cord injuries, and they're able to bench with their feet up. There's always something that you could do to get stronger, and I think powerlifting is one of the most accessible and scalable things that you could do. And what I really love about powerlifting, especially in the competitive sense, is if you want to start with the empty barbell, you can, or if you want to squat 800, 900, 1,000 pounds, you can. and it allows it to be really accessible to a lot of people. So as much as I love training the Larry Williams of the world and all these other people that have gone on to break all-time world records or become top 20 all-time, so that would be consider them best in the world. We've, at the time of this taping, we've helped over 60. We're closing in on 70 lifters that we've helped become nationally ranked. So that's top 50 in their weight class and division, according to Powerlifting Watch. And we'll probably start to use Open Powerlifting as well for some statistics as well for that in the future. But to me, the records are great, but it's about the process and the learning to love the journey of getting stronger. Again, it sounds cliche. It's not the destination, it's the journey and all that stuff, but it really is true. And I really do believe that strength training and lifting should be a part of everyone's life. And that's one of our missions at Powerlifting for the people on the podcast here. In the first series of episodes was a Strong in Spite of series, and we interviewed many strong women of many different shapes, sizes, ability levels, qualifications from all over the country and even outside the U.S. And that was a really great, fantastic series, and I really wanted to highlight especially the females and specifically because I didn't feel like they had a huge voice, especially in the podcast world, in the powerlifting scene. And we did several episodes, I guess probably the first 50 or 60 episodes or so, was just women specifically. Some of these women I've worked with personally, and some of these women are just friends and colleagues and just ambassadors for the sport. And we tried to get women that were older and women that were bigger or taller or short or small or larger. We tried to get different all different types of women and showcase the hardships that they've overcome. They were strong in spite of something. They were strong in spite of what you may normally think. And a lot of times, especially with social media, we see these snapshots of people, but we don't really see the backstory. And that was my goal, is to kind of showcase their backstory, showcase the adversity they had to go through. And they all had very unique challenges, and some I'd never even heard about. And my hope was with that is that somebody would kind of listen to one of those and identify it with at least one of the listeners. And kind of moving forward into the latter half of what we've been doing. So moving forward, I decided that it would be really cool and a little bit selfish on my part, but I wanted to showcase a lot of the lifters that we have at our gym. So I kind of expanded it to both men and women this time, because I wanted to showcase some of the men as well that we've worked with. And again, we interviewed athletes with very, very vast differences in qualifications. Again, like a Larry Williams, some of the best in the world. We got some nationally ranked lifters on there. I have some people that I've worked with remotely with our distance coaching program, as well as a bunch that have worked with us in person. As well as some other, someone like a Kenna, who's a strength coach, who we helped handle for her last meet, and she did fantastic. So there's many layers. Some of these lifters might be parents, they might be mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, daughters, sons, all different walks of life, all different. Some are masters lifters, some are team lifters, some are junior lifters, all different ages, all different genders, all different occupations and different situations. But the one common thing they have, in common is that they're all trying to get stronger and they're trying to be better themselves. The other reason why I wanted to showcase some of our lifters is because obviously inside these four walls at Gaglione Strength, we also possess something I feel is very unique. We have a community aspect, we have a team aspect, and a lot of people talk about community and culture and team, but there's a very vast difference between a bunch of individuals kind of working in the same room, doing separate programs and doing their own thing with their headphones on. And when you're training in a group setting, in a team environment where people are spotting and loading for each other and coaching each other and correcting with technical cues and cheering each other on. And when someone's going for a PR, everyone stops and the eyes are on that lifter. And then it's the I scratch your back, you scratch my mentality. And then if you have ever seen us at a meet, especially when we have a lot of lifters there, there is a presence. There is a presence there, and I wanted to kind of showcase and kind of talk about a little bit the importance of team training, because I feel like that's been a lost thing. Now that the information is a little bit more accessible, which is a great thing for things like this podcast and YouTube and Instagram and all these great outlets and places like EliteFTS.com and all these other great resources for powerlifting training are incredible. When I started about 12 to 13 years ago, at 18 years, so I guess 13 years ago now, we didn't have all these resources available, so we had to actually travel. It was inconvenient, but it was really worth it. And I really think that, the training, and, sometimes the training took a lot longer because we might be in a group of, we might have been in a group of 10 people and there was only one monolift. Or one squat rack that we all shared together. There wasn't 5 squat racks with all 315 on the bar and everyone was doing their own thing. That kind of stuff drives me crazy. Everyone was coming together to help each other. And being a former, and I'll get into my backstory in a future episode, but being a former wrestling coach, a former football coach, a former wrestler and football player myself, I always wanted to bring that team aspect to powerlifting, and so even though it is an individual sport, at the end of the day, our goal is to build a stronger community, and in order for that to happen, we need to come together more. So I'm hoping this podcast brings more people together. I'm hoping this podcast brings more people into the sport of powerlifting. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on is that we want to be an advocate for the sport, which is one of the reasons why we host several meets throughout the year. Our next one will be our youth and novice meet on December 8th for anyone that's in the Long Island, New York area. Our goals for all our competitions, and we do a deadlift contest in February, we do another full meet in June, and then we do our breast cancer contest, and we just add a slingshot division, which we're really proud of, in October. So we have several contests throughout the year, and our goal is to provide a fun, welcoming environment that is low pressure to help the new lifter for maybe their first or second meet. We want to provide them a great first experience in the sport of powerlifting. Because now, since the sport has grown, it can be very challenging and intimidating, especially if you're on your own, to do a meet that has 80, 100, 120 lifters, or it could be even hundreds over the course of a weekend, and you could be lost in the shuffle, and we don't want you to feel like you're just a number, you're just another statistic. We want you to feel part of the family. So that's kind of our goal with Powerlifting for the People. We want everyone to kind of get stronger. We want everyone to kind of hopefully resonate with our message and our resources, and then maybe our message does not jive with you, but we hope you do learn something. We hope that you get something out of the podcast. In future episodes, I want to talk a little bit more about our culture, our philosophy, some of the methods, and even some of the backstory of my chubby little self, why I got into this whole thing, why I'm talking to you, in front, why you even listen to me, why do we have these followers and subscribers. But that's kind of what we want to kind of showcase. So that's what Powerlifting for the People means to me. That is our kind of reason for the podcast, and this is kind of the direction the podcast is going to go. If you do love the podcast and you do really enjoy it, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. It really helps people find us. Write a review, write something funny or nice. Apparently that's what people do these days. But regardless, if you could write a review, if you can give us 5 stars, it does help us boost in the rankings. If you want to share the podcast with a friend, this is a free resource. It does cost money for us to produce, even though we don't have this crazy studio or anything like that, but it does cost money for us to produce between, the hosting and, the man behind the camera and all this stuff. It does cost us something. So if you could just share it and just help spread the word and help spread the message of strength, we really appreciate it, because we do want to continue to provide you content. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the future of this series and the future of our content. And we have a lot of great stuff coming, so make sure you check us out on YouTube and Instagram at Gaglione Strength. If you want to check out our books at Amazon as well, that's another way you could support us. And obviously, you can just check out our main website, gaglionestrength.com, for all our services if you want to support the program. But again, until next time, thank you for watching. Stay strong, and we'll see you soon.